we got Chris Forsberg from NBC Sports Boston in studio. We are Toucher and Hardy. Chris, the trade deadline is tomorrow, and a lot of big names are swirling around that deadline. Names like Kevin Durant. I've heard LeBron James. There are certainly, obviously, the Miami situation going on. What do you think is realistic? Do you think there will be some blockbuster?
Yeah, I do think there will be. Like if you're Phoenix and you just kind of realize like that's kind of stuck in the mud, and you kicked around the Jimmy Butler thing, and if that's not going to happen, I think you do have to at least explore the Durant trade, and that's got to be tough. Same deal. Like new owner was probably hoping that bringing in a big name and spending a lot of money would get them back on track. It hasn't happened, and so you got to do something there. Either go all in on a short-term window, or at least move it for more assets. The Golden State rumors were pretty perpetual. I thought the interesting one is like people think Houston might be in the mix. Ime did coach Kevin Durant in Brooklyn. They've been pretty steadfast that they're not going to trade young pieces to kind of chase it this year when they might not be ready. But you added Durant. Like, that's super intriguing. And then we'll see what happens with Butler.
What do you think it would be like if Durant went back to Golden State?
It certainly puts them in the mix. What's weird is that team has come out and like kind of publicly said, don't give up all the rest of the assets we have because it would take catching lightning in a bottle again. Now, Durant changed the equation more than your normal, like more than Jimmy Butler would, obviously. But are you gutting everything just to chase one more when you probably should be pretty satisfied that 22 you got that one? But undeniably, again, it goes back to like being selfish. First we were saying don't do this, don't like tear up the future, and then Draymond came out the other day and was like, well, you only get so many years of Steph Curry, and obviously Draymond's window is shortening now, and so I do think it would add some intrigue because you have a team that knows how to win, and now you're adding a guy that has won too with them. The chemistry would be pretty quick. Sometimes learning that on the fly is tough. I just think it would be way more interesting because I think like Houston is a fun young team, and like adding Kevin Durant to that would be.
It seems like, and look, these guys have their legacies intact. Steph Curry especially, and even Kevin Durant, but if he were to go there and they were to give it another shot and they fall not just short but fall flat, which is a real possibility. Sure. They just don't have it anymore. That hurts them a little bit in terms of how they're going to be perceived later on. And again, I don't feel that way about Curry in the overall. He's going to go down as, the greatest shooter that, a lot of people have ever seen. Mm-hmm. And Durant is Kevin Durant. He's going to be fine. But when you take a big swing like that of one more time with these three guys and they just kind of fizzle out, it's going to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
The counter argument would be they might fizzle out anyway, right? Like they might still be a mid-seed, might get bounced by.
But without Kevin Durant.
Right. And so
I'm not talking about the Warriors team. I'm talking about those two guys specifically, and Draymond Green to it.
I guess the question becomes is if they don't make the move and you fizzle, does the conversation be, man, if they just kind of like, what are they doing? This was the last hope. They should have gone for it. It just comes down to what you'd have to spend, and maybe it is prohibitive. But if they're not going to pay Kuminga, and like they've got some pieces they can move, and if Phoenix is just desperate enough to do a deal, I mean, again, you just got to consider it because West feels a little bit open. I mean, like Oklahoma City might still be 1 year away. It's all risk. It's all all. Do you think that in the next 3 years, given the way the Rockets, Thunder are trending, that you have a chance, and that if Minnesota ever...
It's just over 7 games. I keep thinking back to that OKC Celtics game, and it's like it feels less open when you think 100%. Back on that game.
And when they get back, Chet, we'll find out just like where they're... Yeah. Are they way ahead of everybody, or are they just like... Are they just being a good regular season team?
Yeah. All right. You are part of a hour-long trade deadline show tomorrow. Are you going to have anything to talk about Celtics-wise for that hour?
So the great thing is it's just Celtics post up. It's our post post-game show.
Uh-huh.
And like we've kind of it'll be deadline centric if they do something, and maybe it won't be if it.
Are they going to do anything tomorrow?
You know what? I'm less. I would say it like this. Didn't think there was a great likelihood they were going to do something in the first place. I think as they start to maybe show some positive signs, there's less inclination to do something. Again, so much of the heavy lifting can be done over the summer. And do you roll the dice with a midseason move when you feel pretty confident that if you do figure it out, if you do find that mojo, you're probably the favorite. So could they do some tinkering on the back end? They have an open roster spot. You have very limited in the contracts you can trade. You can't aggregate contracts, so you can't like. Back in the past, you would combine Jaden Springer and somebody and go get a $9 million player, or you'd pay people to take Jaden Springer's contract. You can't do that anymore when you're on the second apron. So I just think they're going to look at it and say we can probably add someone on the buyout market. So unless there's a good deal to be had, if the Sixers want to get foolish and move Yabusele for a second-round pick or like something like that, I don't know. There's just not a lot of names out there that are minimum contracts that I feel like they could even give a team draft capital to go get.
And why would they? You know,
for a 13th man, right? You know?
Yeah, like why would you even disrupt anything?
The only reason you would is because they have been wildly inconsistent for 2 months until the last 4 games. And it just felt during those 2 months, yeah, you could say, okay, they're just treading water, they're in neutral, they're waiting for the games count, but they didn't play defense for long periods of time. Something is different this year that wasn't there last year.
Okay,
Did
so the
last night
question
change your mind at all? Like, I know I'm not a big like one game, and I ride the roller coaster on our program because it's fun.
Well, the Cleveland game on the road against
No,
Cleveland,
last night was a quality
that was
win,
a big
but
win.
that stands out. I mean, you barely escaped New Orleans, who lost one of their best players in the first half. I mean, there's been a lot of that over the last 2 months.
Game, like
Clippers game,
But,
yeah. I mean,
so let's do the exercise. If you were looking to improve this team, and it wasn't just like a 13th man on the bench, and you're not trading like a starter, who would you trade to upgrade the team? Like who with even minimal value could you trade?
Invariably, it comes down to, and really your only options are to trade Jaden Springer because he makes $4 million, which counts because of the luxury tax and like the steps. You're going to pay like more like $16 million for his contract overall. You still have to bring back a minimum salary or somewhere below $4 million. So like there's just not a lot of options to it. Is that player any better? You know, like, okay, you start going through the names that are somewhere between minimum and $4 million. It's like Walker Kessler in Utah, who like Luke Cornett has been great. I don't understand the fascination with that potential. And then, you know, Kevin Love, I don't even know if he's healthy. Like,
I didn't even know Kevin Love still played.
Right. Well, actually, his Instagram has been on fire. He's been like, you know, making fun of the Jimmy Butler situation, and it's the best thing coming out of Miami lately.
What is he making fun of Miami or making fun of Jimmy Butler?
Like pretty much more so like Jimmy, and like he uses like movie scenes as like to sort of narrate what is happening and the twists and turns in the saga. But he's really good at it, and like go check out his Instagram page.
And he's an active NBA player.
Yeah, right. Like,
where does Kevin Love play now?
Miami.
he's in Miami still.
Yeah, he's right there. He's making.
So
fun of
he's
his own
in Miami and making fun of his own team.
Yeah.
Yes.
He doesn't seem so into it then.
No.
No, he's just he has his money. You're saying.
I mean, he's there, but he's not really there. If you know what I'm saying.
But so those are the conversations that come back to is so I mean some of the names that we've thrown out there like Torrey Craig just got waived in Chicago. You could literally just go sign.
Yeah, these are all just
Javonte
nobodies.
Green. Like
Oh my God, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, isn't it great?
Like, he's really. This was. I mean, it's a scene from Training Day when Denzel is like, "Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?" And this is Jimmy immediately after hearing he wasn't in the starting lineup, and it's I'm not sure explicit. I mean, this is funny. I mean, for meme usage, it's pretty funny.
And also for a guy that's currently on the team and having to deal with both Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler. This is it's an interesting thing.
It's more needling Jimmy, who I think he understands probably isn't coming back, and who's probably if you're on that team, you're like, man, this is just such a distraction, and like he's doing it in a fun way where Riley's probably like, Kev, I like that one.
So is Jimmy Butler is he hurting his legacy or his value right now by doing this?
What legacy?
I'm just going to say, people pretty much know who Jimmy Butler is.
Yeah, like-
he's fired his way off.
Well, no,
of
I
three
know.
different
Well,
teams.
listen, I know the stories in Minnesota and all of that stuff.
Philadelphia had him 1 year and couldn't wait to get rid of him.
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
it's-
But what I'm saying is that he is like a gamer in the playoffs, and he is someone
Yeah.
like that. Is this? I shouldn't say so much legacy. Is his trade value?
No, there's always a team dumb enough who thinks like, we just need that one more piece, and someone will be willing to pay a ransom to get him.
He's doing his best to kill any and all deals. Remember, he said he wouldn't go to Memphis, where if he went, Memphis would be a threat to win it all.
Well, he says he's basically saying he only wants to go to Phoenix.
Yeah,
Like,
Golden State
like
is
Golden
very interested, and he's like, nope, not signing a contract extension.
which
with
is
you
so
guys.
odd. Like that, why wouldn't you want to go to? Like, what difference does it make to you at this point in the year?
Again, the players in the NBA hold so much power right now. Even when De'Aaron Fox came out and said, "Hey, I want to trade," you knew he was going to end up in San Antonio. Like,
So they just traded him to San Antonio.
No, I know, but he's a young player. Like if I'm Jimmy Butler and I'm worth, a billion, $100 million more, to $400 million, $500 million. He's making $40 million. What does it matter to me where I am?
Yeah.
Like if it's on the court, it matters. Like, but if I go to Golden State, I get to play with these guys. There's a chance that we win a title. That all of this. What is it? A geographic reason? Like what do you care? Your life. Get a chauffeur. Rent a 18-bedroom house. Like, what's it to you?
I think we'll eventually get to that point when, something will happen. Either Durant gets traded from Phoenix and he's like, well, I don't want Phoenix anymore, and then
Right.
he'll open up to other options, or he just waits to the very last minute and goes, okay, fine, I'll go to Memphis, or pick whatever the best option is out there that they can say is a potential. And again, that's the power they have. Where I don't feel bad for Miami because whatever they deserve a little strife.
They were lucky they got Jimmy, who behaved all of those years.
Yeah, that's fair. And but I do feel bad in the sense of they're probably they want to get rid of this headache. They're willing to now take less than they should probably get for him. But the best outcome would be if everything fizzled, if every other team started making moves and then he had to go back and they have to cross that bridge of do you let him play? Do you just keep suspending him? He's definitely going to do something.
Pat Riley is vindictive. You keep Pat Riley suspend him for the rest of the season.
But you have to have
just prove a
cause.
point.
And so
of course. Well, he left practice and they suspended him for 5 games.
No. But he's got to do something like that. So if he shows up to practice, then you got to get video from practice and video from games,
Sure.
like he did
It's
with
gotta
the
be
league
amazing.
earlier.
He'll do it.
I would love to be in on the arbitration hearing that happens afterward, where he's because he wants all his money back, so he protests it with the league and the Players Association. And then they end up actually, I think last time they did this, they ended up giving him some money back. But I don't know. The drama would be fantastic.
Well, you heard that Pat Riley gave the league,
the letter.
and also evidence of him, in games, what he was using as evidence. I mean, it's pretty funny.
Did you see the thing where Jimmy was at a Starbucks or whatever, and his card got declined, and he was like, "Well, I'm unemployed right now."
No.
So I like that. I like that everyone seems to be having fun with it, despite the fact that it is an absolute cluster down there. And
Yeah. Well, listen, they weren't going to win anything anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. So who cares? All right. Look, it's a lot of fun. Chris Forsberg from NBC Sports Boston. Thank you so much for the time, sir.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. For more Celtics analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.